Have you ever seen a bird so colorful you thought it had to be painted by hand? Welcome to Birds of China, a journey through a land where feathers shimmer like silk and every sound feels like a note from an ancient song. China isn't just about pandas and palaces. It's home to some of the most breathtaking birds on Earth. From the royal glow of the golden pheasant to the impossible colors of the Mandarin duck, nature here looks like it never learned the meaning of too much beauty. And here's a fun fact. The Crested Ibis, once nearly extinct, was rediscovered by just 7 surviving individuals. Now it's a national treasure, a real-life comeback story. Each bird you'll see today carries a piece of China's spirit, elegance, mystery, and that quiet sense of wonder that never fades. So, which one will steal your heart first? The dancing cranes of Tibet, the sparkling sunbirds of the south, or the magpie with its crimson bill and royal blue tail? Let's find out together as we explore 20 of the most beautiful bird species in China you won't believe exist. You think the peacock owns the title of most beautiful bird on Earth? Think again. The Mandarin duck laughs in 1,000 colors, literally. With its flame orange sails, royal blue sides, and a beak redder than lipstick, this bird looks like it just stepped out of a Chinese painting after raiding a fashion show in Milan. These ducks aren't just eye candy. They're symbols of eternal love in Chinese culture. For centuries, artists have painted pairs of Mandarin ducks to bless newlyweds with lifelong harmony. But here's the twist. When the female disappears during nesting season, the male sheds his flashy coat and goes dull brown. Talk about loyalty. He literally turns off the spotlight until she comes back. And here's a fun fact. Mandarins are expert flyers. Unlike most ducks, they don't splash down on water. They land gracefully on tree branches. Imagine a chubby orange-purple duck balancing on a branch like a ballerina. Elegant or slightly confused. You decide. But here's the debate. Is the Mandarin duck's fame really about love and beauty? Or are we just obsessed with anything that looks Instagram perfect? I mean, look at it. If nature had filters, this bird wouldn't need one. Still, there's something oddly human about it. When it loses its color, it hides. When it finds love, it glows. Maybe that's why we can't stop watching. It mirrors us more than we'd admit. So what do you think? If loyalty had feathers, would it look like this? Or is the Mandarin duck just nature's way of showing off, saying, yeah, humans paint masterpieces, but I was born one. Your move, art lovers. Beauty or vanity? Tell me in the comments. Whose outfit wins? The Mandarin duck or the golden pheasant coming up next? Ever wondered what would happen if a phoenix and a rainbow had a baby? Meet the golden pheasant, the kind of bird that makes every peacock rethink its career choices. With a golden crest like flowing fire, scarlet body, and neon yellow cape, it looks less like a bird and more like a royal parade that forgot to end. Now here's the thing. This walking sunrise isn't shy. Males fan their golden hoods dramatically when wooing females, pacing in circles like, yeah, I know I look good. Meanwhile, the females, in plain brown, just look bored. You can almost hear her sigh. Try harder, Brad. Fun fact, despite their royal look, golden pheasants are surprisingly clumsy. They can't fly far and often crash land into bushes like a glittering fireball. And yet somehow they always strike a pose afterward, as if saying, I meant to do that. But here's the question. Is beauty really power or just good marketing? Because in the bird world, the most dazzling males often get eaten first. Bright colors scream, look at me, which is basically shouting at predators, dinner's ready. Still, these pheasants survive by speed and luck, or maybe pure arrogance. There's also a spiritual side. In Chinese folklore, the golden pheasant represents good fortune and enlightenment, often mistaken for the mythical Feng Huang, the Chinese phoenix. So yeah, this bird literally walks around pretending to be a legend. Respect. But tell me this, if you could choose between being beautiful and being smart, which one would you pick? Because the golden pheasant clearly didn't think twice. Maybe that's why we love it. It's the unapologetic diva of the forest, too loud, too bright, too proud, and completely unforgettable. So, what do you think? Is the golden pheasant proof that nature has a sense of humor, or just a Photoshop experiment that got loose? Drop your verdict below. And get ready, because next up is a bird that makes even this golden diva look humble, the green peafowl. You think the Indian peacock is the king of elegance? Hold that thought, because the green peafowl just entered the room, and suddenly everyone forgot who the peacock even was. This bird doesn't just walk, it struts, like a celebrity on a red carpet that never ends, with shimmering emerald feathers, sapphire eye spots, and that proud metallic neck. It's nature's version of haute couture. But don't let that grace fool you. This beauty has attitude. The green peafowl hisses when annoyed, screams when it wants attention, and will literally chase away anything, even humans, that interrupt its me time. Imagine your glamorous aunt who looks perfect, but will throw her shoe if someone touches her hair. Yeah, that's this bird. Fun fact, unlike its Indian cousin, both male and female green peafowls are stunning. That's right, no dull feathers for the ladies. Equality looks fabulous, doesn't it? And when the male fans out his 5-foot-long tail, the iridescent green waves look like dragon scales glinting in the sun. Ancient, mythical, untamed. But here's the debate. Is this bird the ultimate symbol of confidence or pure vanity? Because the green peafowl knows it's gorgeous. It doesn't hide, doesn't apologize. It just exists beautifully. And yet it's one of Asia's most endangered birds, hunted for those same dazzling feathers. Beauty gives power, but it also paints a target. So here's the twist. In some cultures, this bird represents nobility and integrity. In others, ego and pride. Which one do you see? The royal guardian of the jungle, or nature's loudest diva? Maybe the real message here isn't about beauty at all. Maybe it's about standing tall, even when the world keeps trying to pluck your feathers. So tell me, if confidence had a sound, would it sound like the green peafowl's scream echoing through the forest? Or is that just the sound of someone saying, "Yes, I am fabulous. Deal with it." Your call, folks. Next up, a bird dressed in black and white that somehow outshines all this color, the silver pheasant. You ever meet someone who looks flawless in black and white? No filters, no colors, just class? That's the silver pheasant. In a forest full of rainbow feathers and gold crests, this bird walks in like, "I don't need color, I am the contrast." Its long, silvery white tail glides like satin, and the jet black body gleams like polished armor. Add a bright red face and legs, and you've got a bird that looks like it's dressed for a royal duel and a photo shoot at the same time. But here's the twist. Despite looking like a runway model, the silver pheasant is surprisingly chill. It struts around the mountains of southern China, foraging calmly while the flashier golden pheasant crashes into bushes, somewhere yelling, "Notice me." This one? It just smirks. It knows subtle confidence hits harder than fireworks. Fun fact, ancient Chinese nobles used to embroider the silver pheasant on official robes as a symbol of purity and dignity. In other words, if you wore this bird, you were basically saying, "I'm calm, wise, and richer than you." But here's the debate. Is elegance just another form of pride? Because the silver pheasant doesn't shout, it glides. It doesn't dazzle with colors, it wins with presence. That's not humility, that's quiet dominance. Maybe beauty isn't always about being loud. Maybe it's about knowing you don't have to be. Still, you gotta wonder, in a world obsessed with bright and bold, could a bird like this still steal the spotlight today? Or would it get lost in the noise, too refined to compete with the chaos? Either way, the silver pheasant doesn't care. It's timeless, a black and white photograph in a world of filters. So what do you think? Is this the real king of cool, or just nature's version of minimalist luxury? Comment your take, because next up, we're meeting a bird that proves white can be louder than any color, the white-eared pheasant. Okay, let's be honest. If the silver pheasant was a tuxedo model, this next bird looks like it walks straight out of a winter fairy tale. The white-eared pheasant doesn't need sparkle or color. It glows in its own calm, ghostly way. Picture this: pure white feathers, a puffy round body, and those weirdly adorable ear tufts that stick out like sideburns from a 1970s rock star. Yeah, it's classy and weird. The perfect combo. But don't let that fluffy look fool you. This bird lives in the high, freezing mountains of Tibet and western China. While other pheasants show off in warm forests, this one's strutting through snowdrifts like, cold? Never heard of her. It's built tough. Thick feathers, strong legs, and a calm attitude that says, I've survived avalanches. Fun fact, the white-eared pheasant can actually run across snow without sinking, thanks to wide feathered feet that act like built-in snowshoes. Imagine a bird doing its own version of winter sports, nature's little Olympian in white. But here's the question. Is simplicity underrated? Because this bird doesn't need neon feathers to impress anyone. It's pure white, the color of clarity, peace, and a bit of mystery. In a world full of peacocks screaming, "Look at me," maybe silence is the loudest form of beauty. Still, I can't help thinking, does being different make it more special or just more lonely? High up in the cold, where the air is thin, it lives quietly, away from noise. Beautiful, but distant. Almost poetic, right? Or maybe just introverted. So tell me, if elegance means standing apart, does the white-eared pheasant win the crown? Or is it just the quiet kid at nature's talent show, doing its own thing while everyone else fights for attention? You decide, because up next is its earth-tone cousin, not icy white but rich royal brown, the mysterious brown-eared pheasant. If the white-eared pheasant was a snow queen, then meet her moody, mysterious sibling, the brown-eared pheasant. Same fancy ear tufts, same royal walk, but this one swapped the angelic white for rich coffee brown velvet. It's like the white-eared went to a spa retreat in Tibet and the brown-eared hit a jazz club in Beijing. This bird isn't here to dazzle. It's here to own the vibe. That warm brown plumage with a soft shine, the bright red face patch, the white-tipped tail waving like a ribbon. It's giving vintage luxury energy, and when sunlight hits its feathers, they shimmer with hidden purples and bronzes, like a secret it won't share with anyone who's not paying attention. Fun fact, this pheasant is endemic to northern China, meaning you won't find it anywhere else on Earth. It's actually one of China's most protected birds, sacred to some locals who see it as a guardian of the forest. Once on the brink of extinction, it's making a slow comeback, proof that quiet strength lasts longer than loud fame. But here's the mini debate. If you had to choose, would you rather stand out or stand firm? Because the brown-eared pheasant clearly picked the second option. It doesn't need applause, it just shows up, steady, elegant, grounded. In a way, it's the anti-celebrity of birds, the one that wins respect instead of followers. Still, you gotta wonder, does subtle beauty ever get noticed in a world chasing the next bright thing? Maybe not, but this bird doesn't care. It's playing the long game, grace over glitter. So tell me, who do you think wins this family rivalry? The white-eared with her frosty glamour, or the brown-eared with that quiet fire? Drop your pick below, because next up we meet a bird that proves elegance can fly back from extinction itself, the legendary Crested Ibis. If the brown-eared pheasant was the quiet survivor, the Crested Ibis is the comeback queen. The bird that literally said, extinction? Not today. Once upon a time, this elegant white bird with its red face and curved beak ruled the wetlands of East Asia. Then, humans happened. Habitat loss, pollution, hunting. By the 1980s, only 7 individuals were left alive. 7, not species, 7 birds. And yet here we are, watching it soar again, shimmering under the Chinese sky like a pearl reborn. Look closely, those silky white feathers, soft pink glow at sunset, and that wispy crest behind its head. It's like the ghost of an angel that decided to stay. When it spreads its wings, the underside flashes coral red, like a secret heartbeat reminding the world it's still alive. Fun fact, the Crested Ibis was once considered the last of its kind, until two farmers in Shanxi accidentally rediscovered a hidden breeding pair in 1981. Since then, conservationists have brought the population back from near zero to over 1,000, a literal miracle in feathers. But here's the debate. Do we only love nature after we almost destroy it? Because the ibis didn't change, we did. Suddenly, what was once just another bird became a national treasure, a symbol of hope. Kinda ironic, right? We ruin it, then worship it for surviving us. Still, you can't deny her power. She glides through the wetlands like she owns forgiveness itself. A silent lesson with wings. So what do you think? Is the Crested Ibis a redemption story? Or just a reminder of how careless we can be? Maybe both. Maybe beauty doesn't just survive, it forgives. Your turn. If nature gave second chances, would we even deserve them? Think about it, because next up is another tall, graceful soul who never needed saving. The Oriental Stork. If the Crested Ibis was nature's redemption arc, then the Oriental Stork is the symbol of pure grace, the quiet giant that doesn't need to try. This bird is like the ballet dancer of East Asia. Long legs, snow-white feathers, and black wingtips sharp as ink brushstrokes. When it spreads its wings, it looks like a calligraphy painting come to life. But here's what most people miss. This elegant bird is also a bit of a drama queen. It's picky about its food, its nesting spots, and its neighbors. If another stork dares to land too close, it clatters its bill like a sword fight, classy but intense. And when it takes off, it doesn't flap in panic. It glides effortlessly like it's too sophisticated for gravity. Fun fact, the Oriental stork can have a wingspan over 7 feet, taller than most NBA players. Yet it flies in perfect silence. No calls, no croaks, just the sound of wind and wings. Nature's version of slow jazz. Now here's the debate. Why do we always equate silence with wisdom? Maybe the stork isn't peaceful. Maybe it's just judging us quietly. It stands there in the wetlands, watching humans pollute the rivers it needs, then tilt its head like, "You done yet?" This bird once vanished from much of East Asia too. Hunted, its marshes drained. But thanks to rewilding, it's returning. The stork's patience outlasted our recklessness, again. Still, I can't help wondering, do we really value grace? Or do we just like to romanticize it once it's nearly gone? Because the Oriental stork isn't performing for us. It doesn't care about our metaphors, it just is. So here's your challenge. If grace meant saying nothing and standing tall while the world burns around you, could you pull it off? Or would you flap and scream like the rest of us? You tell me, because next up, we meet a bird that does scream, dance, and steal the whole spotlight, the black-necked crane. Every bird has its stage, but the black-necked crane, it doesn't need one. The entire Tibetan plateau is its theater. This bird doesn't just fly, it performs. With a white body like snow and a jet-black neck that looks painted in ink, it's as if nature said, let's do minimalism, but make it dramatic. When the cold wind sweeps across the grasslands, these cranes rise in pairs, wings wide, calling out to the mountains with that echoing, trumpet-like cry that sounds ancient, almost sacred. And then they dance, leaping, bowing, spinning, a performance of loyalty so moving that locals believe it symbolizes eternal love and good fortune. Fun fact, black-necked cranes are the only crane species that breeds at such high altitudes, over 13,000 feet above sea level. They nest where oxygen is thin, nights are freezing, and humans can barely breathe. Yet they thrive. So yeah, they're not just dancers, they're survivors. But here's the debate. Are they symbols of devotion or just creatures following instinct? Because every year they return to the same spot, same partner, same ritual. Beautiful, yes, but maybe predictable. Do they love or do they just remember? And yet, watching them glide over the Himalayan sky, you feel it. Something more than instinct, something almost human. It's no wonder Tibetan monks revere them, believing their calls carry prayers into heaven. Still, I can't help wondering, if loyalty always looked this graceful, would humans do it better? Or would we get bored halfway through migration? So tell me, is the black-necked crane proof that love can be both wild and disciplined? Or just another reminder that nature's relationships last longer than ours? Drop your take below, because next, we meet the crane's elegant cousin with a splash of red and a name that sounds straight out of poetry, the white-naped crane. If the black-necked crane was the high priest of the mountains, then the white-naped crane is the poet, graceful, melancholic, and just dramatic enough to make every sunrise feel like an emotional monologue. Picture it, tall, elegant, with a gray body smooth as silk and a snowy white stripe running from its head down the back of its neck, like nature took a brush and said, "One perfect stroke." And then there's that red patch around its eyes, glowing like it hasn't slept in 3 nights thinking about love and loss. Yeah, this bird looks like it writes haikus about heartbreak. Fun fact, white-naped cranes mate for life, and their duet calls are legendary. When one starts to sing, the other joins in, their voices rising and falling in perfect harmony. Scientists call it unison calling. I call it the original love song. It's nature's way of saying, we're still together and still better than you. But here's the debate. Is lifelong love beautiful or just exhausting? I mean, imagine waking up to the same face every day for 20 years and still finding the energy to harmonize. That's either true romance or Olympic-level patience. These cranes migrate thousands of miles between China, Mongolia, and Japan every year, often facing shrinking wetlands and habitat loss. Yet somehow they keep returning to the same partner, same place, same melody. Call it instinct, call it love, call it both. Either way, it's consistency humans can only dream of. Still, let's be real. Loyalty like that takes work. Maybe that's why they're endangered. True commitment is rare. So what do you think? Is the white-naped crane proof that love can survive distance, danger, and drama? Or just another bird couple too stubborn to quit? Tell me in the comments, because next up, we're swapping solemn grace for wild color and chaos. Get ready for one of the loudest, cleverest troublemakers in all of China, the red-billed blue magpie. If the cranes were all about grace and devotion, this next bird clearly didn't get the memo. Meet the red-billed blue magpie, the forest's loudmouth, the trickster, the feathered troublemaker who never met a shiny object it didn't want to steal. Just look at it. That bright red bill, glossy royal blue wings, and a tail so long it looks like it's compensating for something. This bird doesn't walk. It struts, like it owns the entire canopy. And when it opens its mouth, oh boy, the magpie's call is part whistle, part scream, part gossip session. If the forest had social media, this bird would be the algorithm. Fun fact, red-billed blue magpies are insanely intelligent. They can recognize themselves in mirrors, mimic other birds, and even plan group raids on fruit trees. That's right, organize crime, but make it fabulous. Still, here's the debate. When does clever become too clever? Because these magpies are known to bully smaller birds and even raid nests. Beauty, brains, and chaos, all in one package. It's like nature looked at them and said, you know what? Let's add some drama, but you have to admit, there's charm in that mischief. They live in tight families, warn each other of danger, and share food. Well, when they're not stealing it. It's social, loud, unpredictable, kind of like us on caffeine. And here's the twist. In Chinese folklore, magpies bring good news and joy. So yeah, imagine calling a bird lucky while it's robbing your picnic. Irony at its finest. So what do you think? Are magpies just misunderstood geniuses or feathered con artists with good PR? Would you rather hang out with a loyal crane or a hilarious thief who keeps life interesting? Drop your vote, because next up, we're trading mischief for mystery and meeting a bird so dazzling, it's called the fairy pitta. And trust me, this next one might just outshine the rainbow itself. If the red-billed blue magpie is the loud party guest, the fairy pitta is the mysterious one who shows up once, steals everyone's attention, and disappears before dessert. This bird is so rare, Bird watchers literally call it the eight-colored jewel because apparently saying rainbow wasn't dramatic enough. Tiny, shy, and almost unreal, the fairy pitta looks hand-painted. Emerald green back, turquoise wings, a crimson belly, a black mask, and that perfect buff crown like a royal headband. It's the kind of bird that makes photographers scream quietly into their cameras. Fun fact, despite being only about 7 inches long, this little beauty migrates thousands of miles every year, from Southeast Asia all the way to Taiwan and China, just to breed in secret, like it's running an international modeling tour. It hides deep in damp forests, moving silently, glowing in patches of sunlight like a secret you're not supposed to find. But here's the debate. Is rarity the same as beauty? Would we still worship the fairy pitta if it weren't so hard to see? Because half its fame comes from the chase. It's not just a bird, it's a quest. We humans can't resist what hides from us, can we? And yet, maybe that's the magic. The fairy pitta doesn't perform for us. It exists quietly, reminding us that not everything beautiful wants to be known. It's the Mona Lisa of the forest, tiny, perfect, and smugly aware that mystery makes it irresistible. Still, I have to ask, if beauty meant never being noticed, would you take it? Would you rather shine in secret or sparkle in the spotlight and risk it all? Your call, explorer, because next up, we're trading shy elegance for explosive energy. A tiny bird that glitters like fire and moves faster than your Wi-Fi, the fork-tailed sunbird. If the fairy pitta was the quiet artist of the forest, the fork-tailed sunbird is the show-off who shows up late, covered in glitter, and says, "You're welcome." This little guy is tiny, barely 5 inches long, but it packs more sparkle than a jewelry store. The males shimmer with emerald green heads, ruby red throats, and tails so sleek they look drawn with a laser pen. Every time sunlight hits them, they flash like living gemstones. It's basically the hummingbird of Asia, except louder, sassier, and maybe more self-aware. Fun fact, fork-tailed sunbirds have some of the fastest metabolisms in the bird world. Their hearts beat over 1,000 times per minute. That's right, 1,000. They drink nectar all day just to keep from burning out, flitting from flower to flower like tiny feathered espresso shots. And here's where the debate starts. Do we love them because they're beautiful or because they never stop moving? They're the influencers of the bird world. Colorful, hyper, always online. I mean, always airborne. They chase light the way humans chase attention, and maybe that's why we can't look away. But behind that sparkle, there's strategy. Their long, curved bills let them steal nectar that bees and butterflies can't reach. It's cute until you realize this little bird is a professional thief with good branding. So what do you think? Genius or diva? Is the fork-tailed sunbird nature's most efficient worker, or just the flashiest freelancer? Either way, you can't help but smile watching it buzz around, fearless and fabulous, like it's late to an audition for Top Bird Idol. So tell me, if energy were beauty, would this one win by default? Or does it just prove that sometimes the smallest creatures shine the brightest? Drop your take, because next up, we're slowing things down for one of China's tiniest yet fluffiest songbirds, the adorable black-throated tit. Okay, let's take a deep breath. After all that sparkle and speed, it's time for something smaller, rounder, and way too cute for its own good. Meet the black-throated tit, the bird equivalent of a marshmallow with wings. Seriously, look at it. Fluffy orange cap, black eye mask like a tiny superhero, soft white belly, and a little black bib under its chin. It looks like it's perpetually surprised by its own existence. And here's the twist. Beneath that adorable chaos is a genius-level social life. Fun fact, these little birds live in cooperative groups, meaning they raise their chicks together. Aunts, uncles, even random neighbors help feed the babies. It's the full suburban sitcom. Forget it takes a village. This bird is the village. But don't let the sweetness fool you. They can be bossy. They squabble, steal nesting materials, and call constantly, as if narrating every thought. If the forest had a group chat, the black-throated tit would be sending voice notes all day. So here's the debate. Is this teamwork or just organized chaos? because from afar, it looks heartwarming. Up close, it's like bird kindergarten on caffeine. Still, it works. Their tight bonds help them survive cold winters and predators that would shred loners in seconds. And maybe that's the lesson. Community isn't about perfection. It's about sticking together even when everyone's loud, messy, and mildly annoying. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's humanity in feathers. So what do you think? Is the black-throated tit proof that chaos can be beautiful if it's built on care? Or are they just tiny drama queens with good PR? Either way, they've figured something out. Survive together, gossip forever. Drop your take, because next up, we're meeting a bird that trades fluff for fiery orange charm and winter swagger. The bold little Daurian Redstart. Ever seen a bird that looks like autumn decided to come alive? That's the Daurian Redstart, a little fireball with wings. Jet black face, silver gray crown, orange chest glowing like a campfire. This bird doesn't fly, it flickers. Even when it's sitting still, that tail never stops twitching, like it's had too much coffee and too many opinions. You'll spot them across parks and villages in China during winter, perched proudly on fences acting like they pay rent. They tilt their heads, puff their chests, and stare right at you with that, "What are you looking at?" attitude. If birds had egos, this one's would need its own nest. Fun fact, the Daurian Redstart is known for its tail-flicking display. It flashes that orange tail to signal confidence or warn others to back off. It's like the bird version of flexing your muscles at the gym. Tiny but mighty. But here's the debate. Is confidence natural or learned? Because this bird is born bold. It doesn't hide in trees. It perches in open light, singing loudly like it owns the neighborhood. Meanwhile, bigger birds just watch, slightly embarrassed. And yet, maybe that's why people love it. In Chinese culture, the redstart is a symbol of joy and renewal. The first flash of color in winter, a reminder that warmth is coming back. It's optimism in feathers. The keep-going bird. Still, I can't help thinking, do we call it brave because it's small and cute? Or would we find it arrogant if it were larger? Funny how size changes our sympathy, huh? So tell me, is the Daurian Redstart a hero of confidence? Or just a feathered show-off with good lighting? Either way, it's living proof that sometimes being small doesn't mean being quiet. Your move, bold or boastful? Tell me what you think, because next up we meet a true celebrity in China's forests. A bird whose voice is more famous than its looks. The Chinese Hwamei. You've heard of beauty queens and drama kings, but how about a singing legend in feathers? Meet the Chinese Hwamei, the little brown bird that can outsing half the pop charts. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. Warm brown feathers, a white eyeliner streak curling behind each eye, like someone ran out of mascara mid-swipe. But then it opens its beak, and the forest stops. Its voice isn't just beautiful, it's expressive, emotional, and ridiculously dramatic. Think Adele, trapped inside a sparrow. Fun fact, Hwamei literally means painted eyebrow in Chinese. And locals have loved this bird for centuries, not just for its looks, but for its singing duels. Yes, real competitions. Bird owners would bring their Hwameis together, and they'd sing competitively like tiny opera stars throwing shade. But here's the debate. Is it cruel or cultural? Because what started as admiration for nature's song turned into a form of entertainment. Cages, prizes, bragging rights. The Hwamei's gift became its curse. Wild populations have dropped because everyone wanted one. Funny how humans always want to own what should just be heard. And yet there's something magical about it. That voice that can carry through valleys, rise with dawn, and sound like it's telling secrets to the wind. Even free in the wild, Hwamei still sing their hearts out, like they remember their ancestors on those wooden perches. So what do you think? Do we celebrate beauty best when we let it be free? Or are we too used to turning wonder into property? Either way, the Hwamei doesn't seem to care. It keeps singing, cage or not. Maybe that's its quiet rebellion. You can't cage a song. So tell me, is freedom louder when it sings softly? Think about it, because next we meet a bird that doesn't sing sweetly at all. It laughs right in your face. Get ready for the white-throated laughingthrush. If the Chinese Hwamei was the soulful singer of the forest, the white-throated laughingthrush is the comedian who grabs the mic next and goes, "All right, folks, let's lighten up." Seriously, this bird doesn't just call, it laughs. Loud, chaotic, contagious laughter that echoes through the hills. You'll hear it before you see it. A whole gang of them, cackling together like they just overheard the forest's juiciest gossip. They travel in rowdy flocks, hopping through branches, knocking fruit down, sometimes arguing mid-flight. It's like watching a nature documentary directed by The Office. Brown body, white throat, expressive face. They look polite until they open their mouths, and then it's all chaos. Fun fact, their laughter isn't random, it's communication. Researchers found that these laughs have structure, used to warn about predators or call friends over for food. So yeah, they're not just goofing around, they're gossiping strategically. But here's the debate. Is joy instinct or intelligence? Because the laughingthrush seems to choose happiness. When danger passes, it laughs louder. Almost like it's saying, "Nice try, life." It's humor as survival. And maybe that's a lesson we need more than they do. Still, there's a fine line between funny and obnoxious. Spend an hour near one flock, and you'll start questioning your sanity. Even the trees probably roll their eyes sometimes. Yet deep down, that laughter feels healing. In a world that's always too serious, here's a bird that treats existence like a joke, but a beautiful one. So tell me, is laughter nature's rebellion, or just proof that even birds know how ridiculous life gets? Would you rather sing like the Hwamei or laugh like the laughingthrush? Drop your pick, and because next up, we're cooling things down with a soft blue shimmer and calm composure. Meet the graceful blue-winged minla, the quiet artist in this noisy forest cast. After all that chaos and cackling, it's time for something calmer. Enter the blue-winged minla, the forest's quiet stylist, soft-spoken but flawlessly dressed. If the laughingthrush was the party, this one's the guest who slips in silently, steals the spotlight with elegance, and leaves before anyone asks for a selfie. Its feathers are a masterpiece of understatement. Cool blue wings, creamy chest, and subtle orange accents that look painted with a watercolor brush. It's not trying to impress you. It's just effortlessly beautiful. Like nature said, let's design something peaceful for once. Fun fact, blue-winged minlas are known for their teamwork. They move in small, tight flocks that stay perfectly coordinated. One calls, the others follow, never bumping or breaking formation. It's like synchronized swimming, but with feathers and branches. And here's the debate. Does quiet confidence ever get enough credit? Because in a world full of show-offs and screamers, the minla just exists beautifully. No drama, no ego. It's the kind of bird that makes you realize not every masterpiece needs neon lights. Still, let's be honest. If this bird had an Instagram, it wouldn't post daily. Maybe once a month, one perfect photo, no caption, mysterious, calm, annoyingly aesthetic. But there's something powerful in that. A reminder that beauty doesn't always demand attention. Sometimes it just breathes and lets the world come to it. So what do you think? In the age of noise, does silence make you invisible or unforgettable? Would you rather shine loud like the sunbird or glow quietly like the minla? Your call, because next, we're meeting a bird with an attitude and a wardrobe to match. It's the forest's fashion rebel, the collared finchbill. You know that one friend who always looks effortlessly cool, messy hair, rolled up sleeves, and still somehow pulls it off? Yeah, that's the collared finchbill. This bird doesn't try. It is style. Olive green body, black head, and a perfect white ring around its neck. Like a bird wearing a designer turtleneck. It's not glamorous like a pheasant or dramatic like a crane, but it's got that street-smart charm. It hangs around bamboo groves and parks, bobbing its head and chirping with this casual, "what's up" vibe. Nature's version of a jazz musician. Fun fact, that collar isn't just for looks. It's used for quick identification. These birds are surprisingly social, living in loose flocks that stay connected through constant chatter. They've even been spotted mimicking other birds' calls, probably just to mess with them. Imagine the forest equivalent of prank calls. But here's the debate. Does being adaptable make you ordinary or extraordinary? Because the finchbill thrives in both wild forests and city parks. It doesn't demand untouched wilderness or sacred mountains. It just lives wherever it wants and still looks good doing it. Survival, but make it stylish. Some people say it's too common to be special, but maybe that's the point. Not every kind of beauty has to be rare. Sometimes charm comes from fitting in, not standing out. The finchbill song isn't a ballad or a scream. It's a whistle of confidence that says, "I'm doing fine. Thanks." So what do you think? Is the collared finchbill proof that normal can be beautiful? Or is it just the bird version of that guy who's chill because he's never tried hard enough? Either way, it's got charisma, and it knows it. You'll see it perched on a wire, looking down at the chaos below like, "Good luck, peasants. Tell me, if you could choose, would you rather be rare and fragile or common but unbreakable?" Think on that, because next up, we end this journey with a bird that's as bold as it is mysterious, the black bulbul. And here we are, the finale, the last act in our Chinese bird symphony. You'd think we'd end with something flashy, gold, rainbow, or maybe wings made of sunlight. But nope. Meet the black bulbul, a bird so effortlessly cool it makes minimalism look rebellious. Jet black feathers, sharp orange beak, and fiery red eye rings. Like it's wearing sunglasses and daring you to say something. And that hair, a little crest sticking straight up like it just rolled out of bed and said, "Yeah, I'm hot." Deal with it. This bird doesn't sing sweetly, it yells. Its call is a scratchy, electric screech that sounds like a rock guitarist tuning up. It hangs in noisy groups, arguing midair, chasing fruit, and laughing like the forest punk band. Fun fact, the black bulbul's black isn't always black. In sunlight, its feathers shimmer dark blue and purple, like oil on water. So yeah, even its darkness glows if you look close enough. But here's the debate. Why are we so drawn to bad boys even in nature? This bird isn't gentle, it isn't graceful, it's attitude with wings. And somehow we love it for that. Maybe because deep down, we all admire something that refuses to blend in. It doesn't care about elegance or perfection. It's too busy being alive, loud and free. While other birds sing politely, the black bulbul screams from the treetops, "I exist, and that's enough." So what do you think? Is rebellion its own kind of beauty? Or just noise dressed up as confidence? Maybe both. Because sometimes the most beautiful thing a creature can do is stop trying to please anyone at all. And that's the perfect note to end on. From the golden pheasants to the laughing thrushes, every bird we've met today shows a different face of beauty. Bold, quiet, loyal, loud. So tell me, after all 20, which bird stole your heart? The royal, the romantic, or the rebel? Drop your favorite below. And don't worry, the forest is still laughing. Because beauty, as China's birds keep proving, never really leaves. So there you have it. 20 wings of wonder, from the royal gold of the pheasants to the defiant black of the bulbul. Each one tells a different story about pride, love, survival, and maybe us. Because if you really think about it, these birds aren't just flying through China's skies. They're flying through our reflection. The loyal cranes, the sneaky magpies, the shy pittas, the bold sunbirds, all mirrors of what it means to be human. Curious, proud, beautiful, flawed. And yet somehow they wear it better than we do. So here's my challenge to you. After seeing all 20, which one would you be? The elegant dancer? The loud troublemaker? The quiet dreamer in blue? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading every answer. If you love this journey, hit that like button like a Redstart flicking his tail And don't forget to subscribe for more wild wings from across the world. Because the next adventure, it might just take us somewhere even stranger. Until then, keep looking up, keep listening, and remember the world still sings if you slow down enough to hear it.